All right, you two back again finally. What can I say? Been a busy first part of the year, and actually I've been getting lazier and lazier as I'm getting fatter and older. And that's sort of how it works. Anyway, here's what we got. Last time I took my car trailer out, well, I shouldn't say last time, but pretty close to it. I managed to break this tail light out, and it was brand new. Both of them were. I actually caught as I was backing in. Those things had blown over, those inner fenders for that 77, and when I took off, it pinched in between. It doesn't matter, broke the tail light. So I went down and bought two new ones, which was good because the last time I used it, I broke this one. Now, the lens is intact, but it broke. I can't see what you're looking at because it's too bright out here. But anyway, broke that. This has been broke for a long time. I haven't replaced it yet. I need to, but I'm not worried about that one right now. I gotta have, I mean, I could possibly super glue this back together or something, but it's not worth it. You'd buy them in pairs anyway. Well, at least to match. But something else that happened, I was backing in here and I was trying to be in a hurry and I got at a funny angle. I bent the crap out of my jack. This is not the first time. When I got it, there was one welded here and it was bent really bad, and you know, it's just no good. That's the foot board. It's actually removable with a pin. I already took that off, and so I'm not sure this is going to be fixable because it's really tight now. So I assumed it bent it, you know, somewhere underneath this. So we're going to pull these bolts out, take this thing out. You have to remove the foot to get this thing up through. These holes were already here originally. This was set up to have the jack here, but somebody had moved it here, possibly to stay away from their tailgate or whatever they had hanging over, you know, there, because they actually pulled a tractor, a diesel tractor with this trailer before I got it. I've had this thing for several years, got a really good deal on it, but then you had to drop a bunch of money into it. It's kind of how it works. So, why is that loose? I don't remember that being loose before. So anyway, let's take this off and see how bad it is. Beating the steel back into submission isn't that big of a deal, but you know what I'm saying. I already loosened one of these just to make sure I could get on it and stuff. So I'll try to stay out of your way. No guarantees. Use grade 8 bolts when I put this together originally, and this is not the first time this particular unit has got bent. I let somebody borrow it one time and the tire fell off the vehicle. I'm talking about their tire. Let it get loose, wallered it out, broke all the studs, and yeah, they also bent they drug one of the tires, which was not entirely their fault, although they weren't paying attention at first. Then the next, they also bent my fender and then said, "Oh, you brought it to me that way." Yeah, some good buddies. They have never used anything of mine since. So, live and learn. I don't like to be a jerk like that, but if they didn't offer to pay for it, didn't offer to fix it, you know, nothing. It was just, you know, oh well, it's tore up. It's too bad for you, kind of a deal. So, man. Anyway. I'm not on it. Can't feel it. Can't get to it. Come on. There we go. There's my washer. Now, it's actually cracked. I can't tell if it's just a paint. As I pull down on this, I really don't know if it's damaged that or not. The last thing you want your trailer to do is to drop on the ground. I really do not have a sledgehammer either, or anything big and heavy, really. I have one that's relatively, but I can't remember if I heated this up last time a bit. It's bent down here, it's bent up here. I'm not sure if you're seeing it. Then this thing is bent like a triangle, which this isn't difficult to bend back into position. So I said, I don't know if it was because of the weight on it that this thing was hard to move, but this thing is stiff now, and it used to not be that way. So, why don't we go ahead and bend it up first? I'll lightly bolt it together and see how it works once I get it beat back into submission, and then I'll make my decision on whether I have to replace the whole thing or not. I don't remember even what the cost is. That actually, the jack actually came with this trailer. The foot didn't, but the jack did. So I'll bring you back in just a second. I got earplugs in now. If I start talking too loud, I apologize. I'll try to warn you before I start beating on something. I'm going to start beating on something. I'm going to lose all my tools and all them bolts. Let me move this stuff to the ground now so I don't have to chase it around later. If you think you're impressed I never hit this wire, I can't believe I didn't hit that wire. That's better. Now let's see what we can do with this jack. Yes, if I hit my foot, you may or may not be able to see what I'm doing. This is going to hurt. That bent the ear up a bit. I may have to take a crescent wrench to that. Oh, it's ugly. Let's bulk back down a bit. And we make it hold tight while we beat that. Oh yeah, it works. It honestly works much better. Well, I saw it roll, but I don't know where it rolled to. Luckily, I have more of this stuff. And yes, I turned the washers were actually cupped pretty bad. I turned them upside down. Not sure it helps anything. Alright, where'd that nut go? the washer right here. Problem is my driveway, it's right here below me. The driveway looks pretty rough. After put some salt, we had that storm come through here. This old concrete didn't like that salt on it. I got a concrete guy supposed to get a hold of me this week. He's busy, everybody's busy. I can get to that started. And kind of how it works. I called 3 or 4 people. I bet you 3 or 4. Like people say, oh, I know this guy does it, or this company's the best. And boy, I got nothing. Nobody called me back. Nobody answered my emails. And my wife heard from somebody at the hospital, and she messaged him like 2 or 3 days ago. Got nothing. Then yesterday, out of the blue, he called. And I don't know which video is going to come out first, but I cannot get this started. I've never been good trying to start these at a funny angle like this. Ah, got it. Anyway, my wife and I bought a... Let me take my earplugs out so I'm not hollering at you. My wife and I bought a 99 Safari Zanzibar Class A diesel motorhome. And that was... I had a place to put it from 2 people I know. One actually stores his fifth wheel up there. It's in a town north of us. So I wasn't, I didn't think anything about it. So we get down to it. I've been doing work on it. Again, don't know how many videos I put out. And, or will buy this one. This may be the first one, I don't know. Darn it. No. What did I do? I had it in reverse. All that fight to get that nut started. I think I hit it on the button because I know I had it right when I put it under there. Anyway, maybe I did, but yeah, better not. Make up stories. Anyway, long story though, it's I've been doing work on it, and I called a guy, that company up there, and told him, I said, hey, need a place to store my 38-foot. Oh no, we ain't got no place like that for. I said, what? I said, man, a friend of mine keeps his fifth wheel up there. Yeah, but you can't turn that around up here. And I said, well, I understand that. I was being nice, I wasn't being a jerk. And I said, I just can't do it that way. I said, but so how do they get turned around there and stuff with that? He says, I'm just telling you that won't work here. Ran out of space. Okay, I don't know what just happened. But it's not tightening now. Anyway. So I thought, well, I said, all right, man, I appreciate it. Should have left my earplugs in. And so I started looking around for other places to store it, and they're far and few between here. I mean, there's a lot of places to store them outside, but man, I really didn't want to store it outside. And I found a place here local that said they were doing office. They had office space, and I said, well, you got a bunch of. So I called. I said, you've got a bunch of big old doors there too. I just can't get on it with this. I don't know why. Did earlier. And anyway, they said, well, let me have the boss call. Somebody's texting me, of course. Okay. So anyway, I started looking around, man. Ooh, that stuff's expensive. You want inside storage, which nobody had anything available. Who is texting me more than once? So, let's see who this is. Working on a junk in Pittsburgh. Yeah, my buddy working on a Nissan. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so take him a picture and send it. What I'm doing. So anyway, I started looking around, and boy, we are talking expensive. And so I'm talking 1,800 to store for a year. And I thought, oh my goodness, I can't do this. I mean, that's a lot of money. And the one down here that was, well, this is actually like in Bartlesville, which is south of me, like 35-40 miles is where these things were at. So so I called the number local, like, I'm sorry, I was trying to do two things at once, sorry. So anyway, I called the one here local, and he says, I'll have one available in August. It goes for $1,800 a year. And it's 15 wide by 50 foot long. And I thought to myself, well, I said, man, if you still got it available, and I'm still looking at that time, I said, I'll give you a call. So I tried calling a couple of them, and none of them had inside space, even at $1,800 a year. Nobody had it. So, oh yeah. It's a little stiffer than it was, but it's much better. So, all right, I'm happy with that. So anyway, I started looking for property to buy because I don't want to build a shop over there on that concrete pad where my shop fell down. A, it's not on the best side of town, and B, my insurance company's fighting her a little bit on the damage that happened to her wall, the neighbor, and I don't know why they're fighting it, but I don't have much to say about it. So anyway, I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. So we started looking for property, and every place that was decent for a good price, of course, is already pending or sucked up or whatever. So anyway, I didn't know what to do, and I'll be doggone if that guy didn't call me from up there in Independence yesterday and says, you know what do you have? He's 82. So I said, I've got a diesel. I said, it's gasoline powered, so it pulls itself. I said, absolutely. You don't have to tow it. I said, no, sir. And he says, well, you know what? I do have a spot up here. He says, why don't you come up here and look at it? I'm still working on it. It's car full of tools. We still had the water hooked up. The electric was hooked up. I mean, I had this thing, you know, I'm still working on it. And I said, well, man, it's going to be an hour. I said, I don't have a ride home. Oh, I'll bring you home. I live in Coffeyville anyway. I said, okay, good enough. So I loaded, unloaded, and unhooked and drove it up to Independence. And man, it's a nice place. It's all indoors. $650 a year, and I got the first month free because I'm a first-time guy. So $550 indoor storage for and access 24 hours a day. Can't beat it. So I am not complaining about that at all, and it's still up there right now because I have so much stuff to do that you know, that's just another story. So let me get the taillights out, and I will bring you back in a minute. Okay, I had to get some tools together, and I dropped my Porta cable. I dropped my drill the other day, and now it's not acting right. My brand new Cobalt drill, and now this thing makes a funny sound. It has a bit of a bent chuck or loose or something. So let's don't continue to drop these, and I bet they last longer. I don't have the wiring unhooked. No. I can't do it with that, and I didn't bring my ratcheting tin. Somebody actually put these on for me. I actually had a piece, it was like a piece of square tubing, for better lack of a word, and it had the bigger light in the back that was embedded in, you know, rubber sealed into that. And I broke this one 2 or 3 times, kept backing into stuff. It was actually bad when I got it, and I just progressively just kept patching it, and eventually it'd give up while they were driving down the road, and then it fell off and lost it. They actually did find it, but by that time he was a welder, and hey, that's the kind of people I don't mind letting them use my stuff, because he called me and says, man, I lost that light. I said, don't worry about it. I said, it was already loose. I said, it's my bad. So I should have welded it back on. He said, I feel bad. He says, I'll bring your trailer back tomorrow. He got out a piece of angle iron, grinded it all up, made a fit, drilled the holes, bought the new lights, the whole 9 yards. And he says, man, I wanted to bring it back the way
got it from you. And I said, well, I appreciate it, but that's not how you got it. I said, I'd give it to you half tore up. But anyway, that's kind of how that played out. So pretty happy with that. So come on. I said, come on. Got a funky well, it's not going to let go. I'll show you what's going on here in a minute, maybe. Good grief. It's actually the ground wire. Has that there's all them points sticking out of it to grab to make ground. I got it, but it's like, don't mess with me. All right, let's see what he used for connections, because I see a lot of electrical tape running long ways. Never seen that before. I always wrapped it. Oh man, he shrunk it and everything. Man, guess what? Not gonna happen on my end. I'll have to replace these probably more than once. I don't know if he had to add wire to this or not. Not really sure. There's an extra ground wire sticking out too. I don't know. All right. Oh, my old leg knees. I'm glad I grabbed all this out of the RV, because all my electrical was in there. And yeah, I hadn't planned on one thing I don't have, you can get a pair of side cutters. Oh, forget it, I got a set of 10 snips closer. Okay. 10 snips to the rescue. I think I'm going to cut it on this side. See how long the wires are for there. I'd rather have them long. This thing probably actually needs rewired because my brake lights don't work, or my brakes don't work anymore. One of them, when I first got it, they were both cut, and I wired them back up, and one worked, one did not. And then after about a year or so, neither one of them worked. That's something I got to work on. I need to do the bearings on it anyway, because it's been several years, and I'm not even sure I did the ones with the brakes. Got a bunch of construction going on down the street, so we're replacing all the city water lines, including mine. Mine's the last house. I don't know why we're doing it. They moved my mailbox. They didn't tell me they were going to do that. And ever run a knife towards you. There's a battery in this. Is that a capacitor? Oh, that's a battery. What kind of deal is this? Maybe I better get the instructions out this time. They're LED. They weren't LED to begin with. Maybe that was just to show you that they were LED. That's what it was. Try me. You know, I never seen that button. Do they work? Oh, looky there. Now I know why there was a battery in there. And it won't let go. Well, that's cool. Do I need that? No. You believe the money they spent just doing this and the time? Me either. Okay. Let me make sure there's not a left hand top. Alright. Yep. Guess they expect your tag to be on that other side. Alright. What's the odds this has the same bolt pattern? Yeah, that's what I think too. Not a chance. Or it'll be just close enough that it's going to be a real booger. Why? They're the same. The same Chinese company made it. I say that out loud. Sorry, guys. Ground wires back on like they're supposed to be. My thought was, should I buy an extra set of these and carry it with them in the toolbox of the truck? There's also a thought, hey, if I pay attention, I won't tear them up. That one was stupid because it caught it on the way out. There was something else sitting next to it. I can't remember if the door caught it also, and it just made those, because those inner fenders aren't very, obviously not heavy. 3 of them stacked together probably is, but I think it caught the door or something on the way out, and it doesn't matter. I broke it. You know what? It was further back. That concrete slab that you said EC on years ago, that's what I hooked on. I remember now, because that's how I knew to stop when I backed the trailer clear up here, was I broke the tires over that concrete, and as soon as both tires were over, was far enough back that I could still get a mower through there. I remember now. Oh my goodness. So anyway, with that said, let's see which one of these connectors I can use. I'm not heat shrinking mine because that's just not how I roll. I will electric tape it though. Watch me go. But anyhow, this side over here was actually done when I was dropping that Ranger off. At the same time I damaged that nose piece there, or that jack. I was trying to move everything around because my buddy couldn't get into his property where I parked that little Red Ranger, red and white, and because he had somebody doing cleanup work in the property with heavy, I call it heavy, because it was a front end loader, and it had a grinder attachment for stumps and stuff. I mean, he had a lot of money. I'm not lying, I understand. And so he actually put a padlock on it where nobody could get in, including the owner of the property, until he was finished. I mean, you could call him and he would come out and let you in, but in this particular case, he was out of town and we couldn't do it. So we had to wait. So I backed the thing back in, and when I did, I was off. And that's when it hit. It actually got off. The end of my driveway is steep, and the trailer drags anyway. And so I've always been super careful about not getting off at a funny angle, because it will catch, and that's what it did. Dug in, caught, doesn't matter, my fault. And it wasn't his fault. He's the one, my fault for being a pack rat, I guess. But either way, that's the story of how it got damaged. And then the tail light on this side was actually backing into his property. It's an old Quonset. That didn't work. I hate these things sometimes. I had a bad feeling about that. Sometimes these things will grab good. Sometimes they will not. Let me try the green one. So anyway, guys, I was backing into his Quonset, and it was really muddy because that property has been overgrown for like 25 years. And unfortunately, because of that, it once they cut it down, I thought, it hadn't rained for a while. I thought, man, it's going to be great, And boy, the trailer was just zigzagging and moving. Then the truck finally come to a stop, and I couldn't go any further. And I thought, you know what? We'll just make it work this way. Well, when I went to come out, it caught a stump just a little bit, shoved it sideways just enough, and it made the truck spin funny. And he hollered at me to stop because I was actually going to catch the wrong side of this. So, and then I would really tear everything up. I didn't want that. So I backed back in and ran into the Ranger and pushed it around a little bit more in the mud. And when I went to come out this time, the truck made it out, the trailer made it out, but only went so far, and I was just slinging mud everywhere. Well, all he has is a 2-wheel drive truck, and he's got a diesel tractor, but it hasn't been started 4 or 5 years, and the tire was flat, and we didn't have air out there. It is a long story, stupid story. One of those deals though, so I had to back up to get a different angle to get out, and when I did, he was hollering, but I was looking the other way, and I caught that stump that got me the first time, and the stump broke this tail light. So, I mean, stupid stuff happens. If I'm telling you what, if it can happen, it will happen to me. So, I mean, it could happen to anybody. I got it, but in the same token, I seem to sometimes be a magnet for stupidity things. It's like, now you knew that was going to happen, right? Well, sure, but I did it anyway. You know, surely it won't happen this time, last time, next time, whatever. But it does. It happens to me regularly. Anyway, it's not a big deal. It's just a set of taillights, 30, 40 bucks. I don't remember what I paid for them. I think I got them at AutoZone. I think I had 20 bucks on the card, and I saw they had LED ones there, so I thought, well, give that a try. Boom. Big dump truck. It's another reason why I was trying to find a place to put, besides the concrete work that needs done, I need that RV moved because I have to go out through the yard, and rainy season is coming. I can't get down the driveway. It's too steep. I tried the other day with my wife. She was on the phone with me. I had it on speaker. I tried twice, and I ended up tearing up the guess what? The wire plug-in for a trailer. It just bent the mount and broke the little plastic tab. Didn't hurt the wiring any of it. It's still usable, but it's not hanging down or nothing. But it is not right. So that's something else I got to get. All right. This one's wired. So, I hope everybody's doing good. I know I probably say that every once in a while on these, or maybe every time. I don't know, but believe me when I tell you, we have not seen the last of what this stupid disease is doing to our country, and we have not seen the end of it. I don't know if anybody has done any wood shopping lately. For those of you who do any woodwork or anything, you know, trim and stuff had gone out of sight the last few years, but 2x4s, that stinking $2.38 2x4 a year ago at Lowe's is now almost $7. That is ridiculous. That is extortion, is what it is. It's not Lowe's fault because they're only charging what, you know. I can't sit there and be mad at them because every place is that way. But sheets of plywood, sheets of OSB, anything. Before I do the other one, let's try this one. Make sure that the LED works with this setup. Should be a tail light on. I said should be a tail light on. Yeah, there's one on. That sun in there, I should have done this side first when the one's in the shade. I got a turn signal. Why, look at that. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I won't bore you with the other side. I won't bore you with the other side. I'll bring you back when everything's done. Maybe we'll do. You know, make sure all the rest of the lights and stuff work. I probably ought to go down there and try to get around. I got to go to AutoZone, pick up a part. Might see if they have those little round ones, because that one's been broke for quite a while. I think I did it like 2 or 3 times ago.
So I had to replace, when I first got the trailer, I had to replace the triple light down there low because the bulbs, only one worked out of the 3. And so I went to replace them and they disintegrated in my hand. Those triples there. So that's kind of normal. So they've been replaced. I think I've had this trailer 5 years, 6 maybe, I don't know. Bought it for $500 and I had to put $500 worth of work into it. So I didn't think that was that bad. Had replaced the end, the pigtail for the, of course, for the wiring. All 4 tires had to be replaced. I repacked front wheel bearings and replaced an entire hub assembly on one of them, and had to replace this triple light. So that, if I recall, that was all I really had to do to it, besides buy that foot for that jack we just messed with. That's it. So I think the tires at the time were $100 a piece, and I had another $100 worth of parts. So you know, came out what I consider $1,000 trailer. Now she's only rated at, what is it, 5200 or whatever that is. It's, you know, they're not a super heavy duty axles, but the trailer itself is really heavy. It is 2,500 pounds empty. I went to the scales. I've weighed it many times. My truck is 6,000 empty, and this trailer is, when I've got the trailer on it with the truck, is 8,500. So it's 2,500 pounds empty. So if you have to take into consideration that weight when you add something on, and I hauled a Z7104 Avalanche back from Muskogee, Oklahoma in a snowstorm that weighed 6,000 pounds. I was overweight on the trailer. This tire is wore. It was on this axle. This axle was bent, and I had a friend of mine who pretty sharp when it comes to that stuff, because I was gonna make some adjustments here on the end of the spindle. He says, no, that's not what's bent. He says, you might think that's what's bent. He said, it's the middle of that tube. That's where it's bent. And I said, you're kidding me. He says, no. He says, put a chain around here, put a come along in the front, get it as tight as you can. He says, get a torch, rosebud, heat it up, get one more click out of it, and hit it 2 or 3 times with a hammer really good. He says, it'll fix it. Because this tire, I bet you only had maybe 1,000 miles on it, and it ate it up that bad. And I moved this one to there, and it's got 2,000 miles now on it, and it has not ate it at all. So I couldn't believe that's what fixed it, because that's not where I would have tried fixing the axle. So you might YouTube it if you ever have to do that. But all right, guys, I got to go do some stuff. I'll bring you back when I'm done here. Well, okay. I think I got them. And I replaced this one here. I need to wipe it off because I use the lube, of course, to get that in that rubber. Don't ever try to do that without it. You'll be fighting it. And the bad thing was I didn't check everything else, so I get up here and now this one's not working. So I think I've replaced that one before. May just have to look up there and see. So I think I checked this one. No, it's not on either. Okay, I'll do some checking on that, but at least I got the back ones all working, so that's that is a plus, because that's yeah, just when you got a car on there, you can't see the tail lights on the truck. So all right, well, that's going to wrap this one up for now. Like I said, working on your own disaster is always so much fun. It takes up time, and you know, just try to learn from your mistakes, and I'll do it again. So anyway, we'll bring you back something else.